A new beginning, from polarized color to harmonized humanity. Let us begin with an uncomfortable truth. Slavery was not born on the shores of the Americas, nor was it exclusively shaped by the hands of Europeans. Before transatlantic ships crossed the oceans with chained human beings below deck, long before plantations carved scars into southern soil, African kingdoms had already enslaved their neighbors. The kingdom of Dahomey raided villages, paraded the captives, and sacrificed them in rituals of power. The Ashanti and Oyo empires traded human lives for weapons and wealth. The Zulu wars under Shaka devastated entire populations in a storm of blood and fire. Slavery, brutality, and domination. These were not foreign imports, but homegrown mechanisms of control, ambition, and fear. This is not said to dilute the horrors of what came after, what was systematized, racialized, and globalized by the European slave trade. Rather, it is said to illuminate one thing clearly. No one race owns cruelty, and no one race should be eternally bound to guilt. But here is where we stand today. A society built on freedom that still bears the invisible chains of its past. People feel the weight of history without knowing how to carry it. And many white Americans today, descendants of people who may have had no hand in slavery, are asked to answer for it, endlessly. To those people, I say this: you are not your ancestors. You do not carry the sins of the past in your blood. But you can choose to be part of the solution in the present. And to those still affected by the generational trauma of slavery, I say this: your pain is real. But justice must not come from blame. It must come from renewal. The language that divides us. One of the greatest sources of division today is not just history. It's language. We live in a world where we still call human beings black and white, terms that, when examined closely, carry enormous symbolic weight. This isn't just about pigmentation. It's about subconscious programming. Think of the words associated with white: bright, light, shine, pure, high, heaven, innocence. Good. Now, think of the words associated with black: dark, shadow, back, hack, sinister, evil, loss, low. We live in a society that has polarized color itself. And whether we realize it or not, this symbolism seeps into our laws, our media, our schools, our stories. If white equals good and black equals bad, what happens when you call one group of people white and the other black? You institutionalize polarity. You make one synonymous with virtue and the other with vice. No wonder the stakes feel so high. No wonder the divide feels so deep. This is why Martin Luther King Jr. pleaded, "Don't judge me by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character." Because he understood that as long as skin becomes a symbol rather than a surface, we will forever be trapped in battles of perception. So today, I bring you the beginning of a new solution. Let us abandon the language of colors. Let us stop calling people black and white. Let us instead embrace terms that reflect origin, not judgment. Let us call the so-called white people ionics, descendants of regions shaped by cooler, ionic climates, and the so-called black people, solarics, descendants of regions kissed and strengthened by the solar fire of the sun. These terms are scientific, respectful, and empowering. They do not favor one race over another. They speak of adaptation, not domination, evolution, not exclusion. And most importantly, they remove the moral connotations that have plagued us for centuries. A solaric person can be noble. An ionic person can be corrupt, or vice versa. Because good and evil are not the inheritance of color. They are the consequences of character. A path toward justice and resolution. And now we come to the question of reparations. Should something be done to address the legacy of slavery in the United States? Yes, but justice must be restorative, not divisive. Monetary compensation alone will not heal the wounds of history. It may buy silence, but not peace. If reparations must come, let them come through education. Let them come through the empowerment of Solaric descendants who feel alienated from a nation they helped build. Let the government invest, truly invest, in the brightest minds of these communities. Let it sponsor new legions of doctors, surgeons, scientists, artists, engineers, innovators. Let every Solaric child walk into a classroom that affirms their brilliance, not their burden. Let universities become cathedrals of rebirth. Let opportunity, not oppression, be the legacy of slavery's end. This is how we create a future that honors the idealism on which America was founded. Not by tearing it down, but by making it finally true for all. The ideal that can heal the world. If we succeed in this linguistic and structural transformation in America, the ripple effect will travel across the globe. Because the language of black versus white is not just American, it is global, and it is dangerous. In politics, in media, in fashion, in commerce, we see these symbols reinforced over and over again. We align cool with cruelty. We align dark with danger. We align light with leadership. But if we redefine these identities, ionics and solarics, not as opposites but as complements, not as enemies but as siblings in civilization, then we plant the seeds of a new world. One where children grow up understanding character over color, cooperation over competition, humanity over hierarchy. The final word, it begins with language. It ends with vision. We must stop being black and white. We must become ionics and solarics. And together, we must build a society where no one is held down by history, and no one is trapped by symbolism. Because we are not colors, we are souls, we are minds, we are builders of destiny. Let this be the age of peace. Let this be the generation that finally got it right. Let this be the moment we walked away from polarities and into harmony.